Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is another story time, and this is a quick story of the time that I got robbed. Yes, I got robbed. I was burgled. But they didn't take anything. So I suppose it's kind of more like the story of my home invasion, for those of you that live in the US. So in my previous home, which fell down, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it above. We were very fortunate in that we had a really big garden gate that ran along the side of my property. So when we lived there, we felt quite cut off from the road, and sometimes we did actually forget to lock our front door. We would just literally like go to bed and it would be unlocked, and yeah, we wouldn't really think anything of it because it was literally like you'd have to come in the garden gate, and if the garden gate wasn't locked, then like you would hear the garden gate open. But yeah, on this occasion, unfortunately, we had forgot to lock our front door. We had gone to bed probably quite late. It was a weekend. I had to be at work at McDonald's the next day. At that time I was at uni, and so it must have been a weekend because yeah, I was at working at McDonald's, and I did that when I was at university. So it must have been like a Friday night or something, and it was in the middle of the summer because all the students had gone home, and I'll explain to you why that's important. I live in a town where there's a lot of students, so during the summer, yeah, a lot of them tend to go home and stuff. So yeah, anyway, so I had gone to bed and I'd left my other half up. He then came to bed later and he hadn't locked the front door either, and it must have been about 4 in the morning, and because it was summer it gets light quite early, and I remember thinking like first light had just started coming through our window because our bedroom, we lived in a ground floor flat, and our bedroom window like looked out onto our front gate, so if anybody came in you could see them coming in, and it literally, like, I was laying in bed and I heard the gate go. Now I'd had like a week or two beforehand, I'd had my postman actually open my front door and throw my post in my front door because I didn't have a letterbox. So he had opened my front door and thrown my post in without even like saying anything, and I think I must have been in my bedroom and I had not got to the front door in time. So he literally just went ch-ch. And do you know what, that didn't really bother me, you know, it was my postman, and I was kind of half awake at the time that the burglary happened. I was like just waking up because I'd heard the gate go. And you know, I thought in my head, oh, it's the postman again. He's doing that thing again where he opens the door and throws the post in. He's so rude. And then I saw torches. And then I realised it was still the middle of the night. And actually this wasn't my postman. This was somebody that had just broken into my house. And in fact, it wasn't just one person, it was two. So there were two men standing in my kitchen, and like my kitchen like backed onto my bedroom, so there was like a door and then there was like my kitchen. So like this is my bedroom, this is my kitchen, here's the door, and I can literally like see, and there's like a window. So I'd seen somebody come through my gate, which I thought was the postman at first because I was half asleep. They then came into my flat with torches and were looking round my flat while I was just laying there, and I was awake and I was terrified. They then walked straight into my bedroom. My other half was still dead asleep. My cat was curled up like here on me. I like gripped him, and then I like sat bolt upright and just started screaming, and the guys who were in the bedroom like literally just shone the torch straight in my face so I couldn't see anything. My other half then started to wake up, and when they realised that there was another guy there, they got a little bit nervous and basically just ran. They ran back into the kitchen, and I said to my other half, there's somebody in our flat. At which time I suddenly realised I wasn't wearing any clothes, and I was sitting upright in the bedroom, and somebody had just literally seen me naked, like topless, completely topless. My other half got out of bed, literally put his hand down the side of the bed and pulled out this whacking great big stick that he had like been keeping there for such occasions, which is like a great big metal spirit level, and he got it and he like ran into the the kitchen, and it wasn't until like he had got up out of the bed that they like went out the kitchen door and back through the gate. My other half was in just his pants. He like got up and like ran into the kitchen and like poked his head through the gate, and then like walked to like the end of our like path and like looked to see whether he could still see them, and he said that he could see two guys who were walking up the street, but it might not have been them because they could have gone behind the other way. We didn't see which way they went. I was absolutely terrified, and like the adrenaline, I can't describe how it makes you feel, knowing that somebody has just been in your house and has just like basically like seen you and like shone a torch in your face while you're there and you're like naked. Like the shock. So I phoned the police. The first thing I did was phone the police, and the police came round about 15 minutes later, and they had had a series of calls throughout the night where people had been attempted to get into properties in the area. So the guys basically were chancers. They were trying to get into lots of different places. They took my statement and my other half statement, and a description the best I could, being that they were shining a torch. I thought the guys were quite tall. One was slightly tubbier than the other, probably late 30s each of them. Took their descriptions, and yeah, basically off they went, and then the forensics team came round and did all the forensics on our front door. I then kind of like just couldn't leave the house for about 3 days because I was so terrified that these guys were going to come back. I kind of kept on like replaying it over and over in my head and thinking, oh god, this could have happened, or this could have happened. But luckily nothing did happen, you know. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. And the reason I say that is because on reflection, because you walk straight into our kitchen, I had like my knife block right by the front door. And when they had gone back into that kitchen, if they wanted to do us any harm, all they had to have done was turn around, pick up a knife, and that would have been it. So, quite scary stuff. When we were in that flat, we actually got burgled, or had our van broken into, or we found people in our garden 8 times. Yes, 8 times it happened. That was the worst one though. That was definitely the worst one. All the other times it was people stealing stuff from our garden, because my other half was an electrician, so he would sometimes like have cable and stuff lying in the garden. They would come over the wall and steal the cable, or they broke into his van and tried to steal his tools, but we did get some of those back because they did find them. But yeah, we were burgled, or they attempted to burgle us quite a few times while we lived there, which is just insane really, I guess. But yeah, that was the story of my burglary, robbery / home invasion thing. But let me know if you've had any previous experiences of that kind of thing happening to you. Have you ever been mugged? Have you ever had things like stolen from you? I actually once lived in a house share with somebody, and somebody actually stole my toothbrush once. That was a bit minging. Weirdos. But yeah, Let me know your stories, and yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.